It's a tough subject. We are back. And Jessica, I thought about renaming the show this week. It's a tough week.
Dennis, I mean,
Suicide.
guys, suicide is not the only grief. It's a hard, tough grief, but man, grief overall is so powerful to the soul.
So we're getting through right now. I'll tell the audience when we tape this. This is September 12th. This week on the 10th was Suicide Prevention Day, Suicide Prevention Week, in Suicide Prevention Month. We had to honor the good folks we lost in 9/11. It's just like, then we had an assassination of a young man on a college campus doing his thing. You had to put your doggy down. I mean, it's a tough week. I'm so sorry
Oh,
for bringing
yeah.
that up. It's all,
No, that's a grief. I wanted to talk about that. It's just been, you want to talk about this subject and then something else happens this week and then something else happens. And, she actually was lucky I didn't have to put her down, Dennis. She made that decision for us. I found peace in that. And my 15-year-old had her for 15 years. She went through divorce, marriage, grandchildren, moving, school, new job. She went through everything with me. She was my heart and soul.
15 years. That's a dang good run for a doggo.
Yeah, I foolishly, and maybe some of you can understand this, because I've heard statistics. Pet grief is, it is very similar to just grief of loss of it's a person.
It's deep. I'm telling you, it's deep. Pet grief is deep. Thank goodness it's short.
Yes.
It's short, but it's deep. You're still going down hard and you're going low. I can attest to that. When we put Fella down, my dog, um, gosh,
Fella?
we only had a Fella,
Oh,
Fella, Fella,
love that
and
name. Mine
he
was
was a lab.
Lovey.
Yeah,
Lovey.
he was awesome. And I remember we had to put him down, but it was the day we had to go to the vet. Your dog died of natural causes in your yard, just for
Peacefully
the
in my
audience.
yard, yeah.
Yeah, which is really nice because we had to go to the vet, had the appointment, and my son came in. He was in his tennis gear. He was played high school tennis. This is years ago, and I said, Brendan, I had to tell him. I said, Brendan, when you come home, Fella's not going to be here. And he gets down in his tennis uniform and he hugs the dog, and I'm like bawling
Oh my
right
God.
there, and the
Bawling
dog's
right
still
there.
alive. And then the dog must have known, Jessica, that like something was up because all of a sudden it started acting spry, and all week wasn't eating. It was now it's like a puppy again. I'm like, oh, you son of a gun! It
Yeah.
had cancer. Like, don't do this to me. Um, so you came home on what was it, Friday last week?
Yeah, I did a suicide prevention speech. It went well. I felt it was such a great group of people. I came home. It was my husband's birthday.
Hold on here. You do a suicide prevention talk on your husband's birthday on a Friday, and you come home.
I came home to look for Lovey. She was a little white Shih Tzu mix. She was a rescue we found. We saved her life essentially in 2010 when we got her. As a 6 month old, we think puppy. And I couldn't find her. My husband had let her out. She loved to walk in the yard. So it was a little poetic the way that I found her. And she was just laying in the grass, just laying there like she just laid down. And we buried her. My sister just sent me a message. I've never done this. I don't know about you guys, but I've always cremated but I actually, first of all, she's the first dog that I ever had in my life as a 51-year-old woman that I raised from puppy and then till she took her
To
last
the
breath.
Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. Never had done that before. Lost my dog in a divorce and got her. She just came into my life within a month of that. And we buried her and I'm doing a little memorial. We've got a little cross with her name on it and a little thing with her picture and a statue of a Shih Tzu. And she deserves that. She was a loyal friend and family member to me and
All
my
right, I'm
husband.
not I'm not making fun of your dog, but that name cracks me up for some reason.
She
Shih
was
Tzu.
not lovey. She was shy. For the first
Lovey
5 years
the
of her
Shih
life,
Tzu.
she hid under the bed when people came to the house.
Lovey the Shih Tzu. That's too good.
Oh, I know. I love her so much, Dennis. Can I show a picture of her real quick? Just
Sure, the goes are really good for the people listening on a podcast
Well,
when you use
we will
audio
describe her. We
visual.
will describe her as a
Sometimes you can watch
fluffy,
it on YouTube. I know. All right.
because she's so cute. You have to
I
look
want
at
to get
this
back to
if
the
you're
talk.
watching.
Oh, there she is. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I've
All right.
memorialized my sweet girl now.
Memorialize your dog on a podcast. Now, so I want to go backwards in the day. You
Yeah.
spoke at an event that
Yes,
morning.
I did.
And I'm
Yep.
so sorry. I was traveling and I got your text after the talk. I wanted to say good luck.
You know what?
And
I did. I said something I've never said for the very first time in that talk, and it just came on my heart. I said I was proud of my dad.
wow.
Yeah, I've never said that.
So, for the listener who just tuned in, Jessica lost her dad to suicide. And you said, I was proud of my dad.
I lost my dad in 1992, October next
Oh,
month. Your brother next month as well, in
yep.
94, I believe. And I said I was proud of my family for coming together and overcoming this, but I'm proud of the man that my dad was, because I was able to be trained to speak about him. I remembered things that he did that were great, and what a wonderful person he was to others and to us. And it was really amazing. It stuck with me.
That is so parallel to the grief journey we had with my brothers. We did an out of the darkness walk up in New York, and there was some resistance from some family members. And then after the walk, we went to this restaurant, and we had a big meal and outdoors. It was in the back. We rented it out, and people came up, and we started sharing stories about the boys again. And it was cool all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, I remember these stories. I tell a story about Matt now in my talk. I'll never forget this. My wedding day, my first wedding.
Yes,
Got to
we've both
clarify.
been married twice, but hey.
Divorce is, be careful.
It
Relationship
happens.
is a warning sign, a loss of relationship. So we want to talk about that. But the clock is not your friend on your wedding day. It really isn't. Time. We got to get to the church. We got to get, we're doing photos, all this crap. And my brother and I went to lunch, and I said, Matthew, here's my best man. I said, Matt, whatever you do, order something cold, like a sandwich. They can fix it fast because we got to go. And the son of a gun ordered spaghetti. I'm like, dude, they got to boil water. Like,
What part of cold? I
what?
mean, who eats? Did you not hear, right?
Yeah, if the spaghetti's cold in your fridge, which is awesome, by the way, the next day, eat it. But that's not
Ew.
going to happen at a restaurant. They're not going to give you a Tupperware bowl of cold spaghetti.
And then
I
it
was so
sprays
mad.
everywhere. So if you're,
Yeah,
you might have
yeah,
spaghetti juice all over your face, not
yeah.
even
They've
know it,
got
right?
orange lips for the photos.
Yeah,
I was like, you
yeah.
dork. I was so mad, but that's a sibling thing. Um, so you did the talk. You're proud of your dad, and that was it for Mental Health America?
It was for so we're in South Carolina, Aiken, Barnwell County, uh, Suicide Prevention Coalition, and it was a packed room. Got great feedback. People were so sweet and shared their own stories, thanked me for being vulnerable. I did not cry. I was nervous for some reason, but then we did a panel, and we had myself. We had a pastor that lost his son. We had another gentleman in the community that lost his daughter. And then we had a gentleman at the end that was now a social worker that had actually tried to take his own life.
So you had lived experience.
We did. We did.
Wow, you really wrapped it up.
We did. We had a great day. They're just kind people, felt welcome. Actually left there feeling good. Went, bought my husband yes, I bought his birthday present the day of his birthday, but no judgment here.
Still
And
got it.
was just driving home listening to good music. And I came home, and man, my heart I got kicked in the stomach really, really hard that day.
All right, so I'm gonna make you walk through this.
No,
The
you're
dog
fine.
and all that. But how'd Saturday? How'd the weekend go then? Like your
The
husband's
weekend was
birthday. Were you able to?
terrible. I felt horrible
Oh,
because I cried at different, even on the way to church. I cried in church. I think I feel good now. I feel a lot better. I think what it was a couple things. I started to feel guilt. She was blind and deaf and had some dementia. And I thought, you should have made a decision. She was not, her quality of life was not good. That hurt. Having a 15-year consistent, like, pet in your life I'd never experienced, and thinking about this, it's almost like it's a chapter was closed on Friday. And for some reason, that was really hard. And foolishly, as someone that's gone through a major loss and major trauma, I thought in my mind that, you know what, I had her for 15 years. I'm going to thank God for that. And it's going to be okay because you can get through this. But I was taken aback by how much I was hurting, really.
Wow. So, and I get it too. There was, this is going to sound terrible for all the pet owners, but when my dog died, we put Fella down, there was like, all of a sudden I remember being out somewhere and I didn't have to run home to let the
Yeah.
dog out. And that was kind of cool. I miss Fella. I'm like, well, hold on, I could stay here. And we went away for the weekend and we didn't have to get a board, put the dog up. We didn't have to make arrangements. Now, I'll tell you a funny story, Jessica, and this is Christine 2.0, my new wife. She lost her dog. Again, it was a long-term dog, 10, 12 years. Literally the very next day, she went out and got another dog. She couldn't
Hey,
take it.
I did that with my first Yorkie. Same thing. And
Yeah.
people judged me for that, by the way. I don't know. I was like, hey, people have deal with grief differently. Who am I to tell you what you should do? So with Lily Bell, my first little Yorkie we adopted, she had a brain tumor. I only had her for 6 years. And the next weekend I was buying Garnet Rose, my Yorkie I have now, who's now almost 7.5 years old. But I did with Lovey, it was different. First of all, I have two dogs, and three is a lot, to your point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Getting her up in the morning as a senior, feeding her, getting her out. She couldn't see. It was a lot. It was getting expensive. I would have paid all the money in the world. It wouldn't matter. But I'm not, if an animal comes into my life and it needs love and everything works out, I'd be open. I'm not seeking another animal, but I don't judge. You got to feel that heartbreak. Whatever you do, you just do. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm sending, you just reminded me. My son's dog's having an operation today, and these are how pets. So I have to just write "Good luck today" for his dog's Tater. It's just weird how these pets infiltrate our lives and become these. I saw a bumper sticker, and it's so true for what all we do is all dogs are therapy dogs.
They are.
All of them.
Yeah.
And the dog that my wife ran out and got, we still have Henry, and he's just a love muffin. I mean, he just you have a crappy day and that dog's happy to see you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's the thing coming in to your house. I mean, nobody's ever like, "Rah," mine go crazy and jump all over me and follow me into the bathroom and everywhere. And so, Lovey was not like her name. She was independent. She loved you when you needed it, but she was kind of in the background, kind of like this quiet, demure little girl. And I just love
Lovey,
her.
Lovey, Lovey. Should have named her Krabby, right?
Well, my husband, when we met and we decided to get our first dog together, we heard that name. So I have to tell this, and then I want us to move on to some other things.
Yes, we're gonna move through the week.
But so we came up with this name. I don't know how. We're like, oh, that's a cute name. That'd be a cute name for a dog. I put it in my little notes section of my phone. So when we got a dog, we were going to name it Lovey. Well, when we found her, with the person that found her, they had named her, horrible name, guys. Sorry if this is your name. I shouldn't have said that. Eunice. So
Eunice.
her name was Eunice when we got her. And I was like, okay, your name is not going to be Eunice. They had just found her. They just named her. It wasn't like a long-term name. Well, we found out. So if you remember Gilligan's Island, I'm showing my age.
Love
Love
her.
that show. Lovey was on there. Do you know her real name was Eunice?
That is weird.
Isn't it?
That's totally weird. Mrs. Howell. He always
Yes, yes.
Mr. Howell always said Lovey, and
Lovey.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and her real name, the actress name was Eunice. Oh my gosh. All right, so
So
this is the Jessica
for a giggle, when we
for a
got her,
giggle.
she was wrapped in a Powerball towel. This was right when we started getting the
Lottery.
lottery in our state. So I bought a Powerball ticket, and I thought, wow, maybe this is like a sign that we're going to win the power. We didn't win, folks.
And here we are today doing a podcast. So obviously
But
didn't
yeah.
win. Here we are.
Anyway,
So we're going through the weekend. Sunday's rough. Monday
yeah.
back to work. Now the whole
No, I
time you're
took
doing
Monday off. My company is wonderful. They let me take Monday off. I needed a grief day.
perfect.
So yes, kudos to the South Carolina Office of Rural Health for not asking at all. Everybody checked on me and said, yes, please take today.
It's funny. My wife, when her dog died and she got the new one the next day, she called her office and it was a bunch of guys in the office and she goes, "My pet died." Every one of them had a pet. It's like, "Oh, you're done for the day." Like Do
Mm-hmm.
not call in again. Take tomorrow off too. They all got it. Like the death. They just no. We're fine. We'll manage. And they totally respected that, and it was really cool because it's again it's a deep but short. I hope it's short. If you find yourself getting stuck, so let's go through the week. Monday you're off. Tuesday now we're on. It's coming up. It's Suicide Prevention Week. The 11th, what was it? The 10th, Wednesday. Everyone was told to wear yellow. I remember I was out in Colorado and they said wear yellow. It's Suicide Prevention Day.
I was on
I
the
did a
news
live
that morning
broadcast.
talking about behavioral health resources up in your area, neck of the woods.
All right, you did that.
Yep.
And then, boom, the American psyche gets funked up a little bit,
Oh,
a lot. I'm downplaying it, but we had
an
a young
assassination. Call
man
it what it is. It was.
assassinated on a campus. I lean left, but I admired this guy because he would go into the arena and have a conversation with folks with different opinions, which we've lost the ability to do that. We really
Yes.
haven't. He was modeling the behavior like, all right, I think this, you think that. Everybody grab a microphone. Let's talk it out.
I mean, we can't do that. I felt this for so long, Dennis. I'm people laugh at me and tell me I can't be. I can be whatever I want, by the way. I am right down the middle. I am right down the middle.
It can
Um,
happen.
and I'm okay for, I, I don't think I've been able to say that. There's things, I went back to school. I lived in a small little world, where I was sheltered. I only knew what the people that I was raised by thought. I didn't know any different. And I got out into the world and learned things. I went to college. I have a liberal arts degree. I have a scientific degree. I have a master's in public health. And I can tell you that there's have been times that I've felt like I couldn't be who I am as a Christian, as a moderate woman, because I was going to be judged. I felt that
Well, that's
very
a bummer.
strongly, very strongly, because I just want to, I don't care who you are or what your belief is. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ and I just want to love you. And who am I to tell you you're right or wrong? We should be more like that, is tolerance.
Well, Jessica, I'm going to give you a little pick me up here. As you get older, and I'm older than you don't give a rat's around what people think. It's awesome. There's like, I always tell the kids, get older. Because like when you're younger and you're worried about these cliques and all these groups, and then you get older, you're like, screw it. I am who I am.
It's not that, Dennis. I don't mind in general. Mine is more from a perspective of my profession. I'm afraid that
All
people
right.
think you can't care about others and advocate for those in society that have been forgotten if you don't think this way.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, I'm with you on that. You be who you are, and kindness is a rare trait these days. And the civility, the ability to agree to disagree. I'm on a text chain with a couple guys, and I lean a little left. They're all far right. It's hilarious. But we are, at the end of the day, we all love each other.
Connect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
that
hilarious.
crazy? Who,
I
what would
walked
our
in.
world be without differences?
It was hilarious because we're at a big outing at this guy's house, and everyone's eating outside, and I come out with my food, and they go, "All right, everybody, here comes the liberal." I'm like, "Dude, I'm like right down the middle," and everyone be quiet. Here comes the liberal, and we started laughing. We actually laughed about it. I said, "Dude, we're closer than you think. We're we both want the same thing."
People that have said that about me when my neighbors were saying something and they were like, "Oh, I know you don't think like that." I'm like, "Why would you? How do you know what I think?" Like
Don't
they thought
assign me stuff.
I mean, I just because I care about people in our society that aren't perfect. Who is perfect, folks? I'm sorry, none of us are. I just do what I feel like I'm led to do by the person, by my maker. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I have some liberal views. I have some conservative views. I'm a Christian. I'm not afraid to say it. And I think we need to be able to say that. I told my husband this morning, and I'm going to say his name. Our producer said it's okay. Charlie Kirk went into the lion's den.
But yeah,
I didn't
I,
agree
I
with everything he
appreciate that.
said. I did not. I didn't agree with some things I saw. But what I agreed with is for far too long, you can't, if you differ with someone, then that is a bad thing. And I think I watched him talk to people when I cringed. I watched him talk to people that thought differently than him when I saw him show some compassion. And
Absolutely.
he was 31 years old. My stepson's 31. I thought about my stepson. You haven't even scratched the surface of life.
Just getting started.
2
More
children,
to
a
come.
wife, parents, and I'm like, people have some. And then I saw this competition. Well, nobody's praying for the kids that died because they were doing. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we are. None of it's okay. It's not a competition.
This is a good week. Folks out there, I'm on Instagram a lot, and I'm not on Facebook because I lost my two-factor authentication, and I never made any controversial posts or all this. But this has been a really good week to be locked out of Facebook
Oh my
for me. Social media, I go on the happy sites and then I get off, and I post stuff about, my trip. I had it while you were in Aiken. I was in Colorado in Vail, which is gorgeous, and it was, I did a memorial service, and then the next day I spoke to the hospitality industry, which we have to talk about one day, about the unique challenges they face because back to civility, they deal with people who aren't very nice. The customer's always right, unless they're wrong. And then, I came home to all this, and I still can't get in Facebook, which is fine. If you need me, find me on Instagram.
You were
But
blessed by
man,
not being able to get on Facebook.
I am. When I first got booted off Facebook, because I changed phones. I lost the two-factor authentication. Get in. I didn't do anything controversial. I'm always upbeat on there, and it was during the political campaign. I'm like, well, I'm no rush to get back on there because I've seen families get divided on Facebook over posts. I'm like, maybe I'll hang out. And then I was like, well, as a businessman who speaks on suicide prevention, I should be on there to promote our work, to promote this podcast. And I just can't, they have no customer service. I can't get a hold of the right person. If I post on Instagram, it goes on Facebook. So people think I'm there, but I can't respond. And I have to tell them, hey, come over to Instagram. And this is both Meta, whatever it is. And now I'm like, I'm in no rush to get back on there now because of, we have like a political assassination going on. There are people, this is maybe a conspiracy theory.
9/11, let's not forget about that. And that just
9/11,
brings
that was
back
brutal.
horrible, horrible,
24
heartbreaking
years,
memories. But good
unbelievable.
memories too, in a way, after how we came together
We
and
rallied.
grieved as a nation.
There's a couple things that brought us together. Any strife like that brings you together. Grief will bring us together. Collective grief over a common enemy at this time was terrorism. But I remember a couple of years ago, something brought us together. It was, and we can use another one right now. We had a solar eclipse that went right across America, and for like one day, everybody forgot about all the crap, and we marveled at this thing, this big ball in the sky, and it went right through Columbia, South Carolina, where we were, and it was phenomenal. My neighbors took off; the kids were off from school. It was like,
Well, we had a whole big group of people. Nobody knew what anybody believed or thought about. We were just floating in the lake, just in awe of
what happened?
a miracle. Like, it was very divine, in my opinion. Like, it was a interesting experience that I remembered from elementary school, but not the way that I did in 2017.
Yeah, we need another solar eclipse or something to bond us, like putting a man on the moon, something that's really upbeat.
I don't know though, Dennis. I have to tell you, I heard someone speak the other day, and I agree. And we were talking about coming together after these, not the eclipse, but 9/11. And one thing they were like, that's just amazing how we came together. And he said, yeah, but there's one difference. We didn't have social media.
Oh, good point. When the men on the moon landed, they had a big ticker tape parade. I'm going to tell my age right here. I was 6 years old and I went to that thing in New York. My dad grabbed us all. We lived outside the city and we went down there. It's like one of my first childhood
Oh my
memories.
gosh, that is amazing.
I remember all this paper coming down from the sky. I remember some guys were climbing trees in Central Park and one of the branches broke. I do remember that. And I remember
The
then
kid's
afterwards,
mind, right?
yeah, just I don't remember the astronauts going by. My dad was picking us up. And then I remember we all went out for Chinese food afterwards. And that was my dad's treat. And it was like everybody was there. You're right. No one was on their phones because they didn't exist. Wow, if you can go back in time. I said that to a kid one time recently at a fraternity function. I spoke at two fraternity conferences this year, national, and I said to one kid, I said, "Man, I'm glad I went to college without phones, without cell phones."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, this young guy, he
Me
goes,
too.
"Dude," he said, "Dude, every one of our alumni says that. Every one of our alumni says that."
Maybe there's
So
something to it then. We know
I,
something you don't know.
that's what I'm not in a rush to get back to Facebook, back to the political assassination. It's dividing people. And I think there are trolls out there, outside interests, China, Russia, whoever doesn't like America, using this to divide us. They get on there and there's Sally Jones from Missouri. She doesn't even exist. It's some bot over in Russia saying, "Oh, I'm glad he's gone." I'm like, what do you mean that? Violence doesn't solve anything, but it's not a real person.
Violence doesn't, you don't fight violence with violence either. And
No,
here's the other thing I'm
no.
saying, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I went down the rabbit hole a little bit. So in my community, people are sharing Facebook profiles of people here. These are business owners, some of them. I just saw this morning an attorney that shared something nasty about his death, and they are doxing them, showing their
Oh,
information on
don't get the
social
internet mad
media.
at you.
And I'm like, part of me is like, how dare you? But the other part of me is like, just let it go. They just let it go. Let them think that way. I pity them. If you can have that much hate in your heart, listen, if
Type it
somebody
and
from the
post it.
other side got, no matter who, it wouldn't matter side, whatever. If another human being was taken from this world like that, oh, I don't care who they are. I would hurt. I would hurt whether you were a Democrat or Republican, black, white, Christian, not. I would hurt because that's a tragedy.
Oh, it's awful tragedy. And it's interesting when we talk about suicide and talk about my brothers, I literally use this line in the talk. I say, I wouldn't wish a suicide on the devil himself.
Amen.
Like it's just like the grief and all that, and then a violent, someone who's murdered, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
And these
Anybody.
children, I told you, the thing that broke my heart was when my father died, and I don't know if this happened to you or not. People said bad things about my dad. I mean, the whole, well, how selfish of him to leave you. And, people came out of the woodwork and told my mom things about him. And I'm like, why would you even do that? And that's what I think about for Charlie Kirk's children is people saying things like that. Like those kids are going to see that. Like that. I lived for 30 years with a memory of thinking my dad was not a good person. That's not a good thing. It destroyed a lot of things in my life, and it won't happen again. And I told you, I said, earlier, I was proud of my dad, and I fully meant it. And man, that might have been another pivotal healing moment for me.
Wow. You're coming along. We're watching you heal in real
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Well, it's always going on. You know that. It's always happening.
yeah.
It's always going on. By the way, I was just thinking about you spoke on Friday. I spoke Sunday, Monday. I traveled Tuesday. I spoke twice on Wednesday. 5 presentations this week.
We have a big one next week, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm going to see you live, right? You're
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, we're going to be together. We may have to take a picture and somehow share that on
Show
social
people that we
media.
actually in the same room at
Yeah,
the
we
same
actually
time.
physically exist. We're not bots, I promise.
I'll talk about that a little bit. One is the event is next week. We're doing a rollout of a
Yeah. Tools. So in
tools.
South Carolina, I would venture to say in a lot of states, there are some overarching universal issues with addressing behavioral health. I think that's part of our country's problem. Is that we need guys just getting more workforce is a part of it, but as communities, we have a role in healing. Um, and one thing we did with this is bring 10 counties together to address some of these issues, to work collaboratively, to work as one instead of independently, which is
Nice.
always what you, in my opinion, in life, working together is always better, right? Um, and so we'd always say, leave your egos and logos at the door. Let's just work at one as one. And we did without any funding or any reason. People just came together and we developed a toolkit for businesses to help them address their employees' behavioral health needs and
Nice.
educate them. Yeah, to help introduce this workforce to young people. You think about when you're young, you want to be what, a couple of things: a doctor, a teacher, a policeman, a lawyer, whatever. Nobody ever says, I want to be a counselor, a
I
social
want to be a
worker.
suicide prevention,
Right, right. Who
mental
says
health
that?
advocate.
Right. And so we want to build that interest and that love. And I think Dennis, and maybe I'm, just kind of being wildly optimistic. I think small things like that and getting out there and educating people on the benefits of helping others could be how our country, if everybody did a little bit, what an impact we could have um, in our
You
world.
remind me, I used to listen to motivational tapes when I was driving around being a sales rep.
You said
And one of
tapes.
the
You're really showing your age.
tapes, cassette tapes, I had to load them in. I had a big,
Rewind, fast forward. It would play
gosh, it
the
was like
whole thing.
12 tapes,
It's
the
the whole
big
thing.
binder in the car. It was took up the whole front seat.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I would pop a tape in. And one of the guys I used to listen to was a guy named Zig Ziglar. He was like a
My
motivational
goodness.
sales
Yeah.
rep. He was from
You don't forget a
Mississippi.
name like that.
Yeah, and it's probably a made up name. He probably changed it for
It's a nickname, I'm pretty
it's a
sure.
nickname. Zig Ziglar, he would say, you can get everything you want in life if you help others get what they want. Now, those lines stick with me, and it's so true. If you help someone else get what they want, guess what? You got what you wanted. You ever volunteer for something like, Habitat for Humanity, or I remember that we had one in Colombia. My kids signed up. I was trying to model behavior, and we're going to put a roof on this house. And sure enough, we wake up that day. It's like 40 degrees and raining. And we're like, what? And we're still doing it. I
Why
called the
did
guy.
I
Who
do
goes,
this? Yes.
yeah. So it's miserable out, and we're up there, and I'm just doing it. And then it stopped raining. And said, hey, we're going up, and it was freezing, and didn't want to be there. So and my kids were just complaining the whole time. Actually, they were pretty good. I think I was doing more of the
You
complaining.
were the complainer.
Yeah, I was. I can't believe I. Okay. But then you get back in the car and you're driving home, and this feeling comes over you, like, we did something good today, and you can get everything you want if you help others get what they want, and it just,
There's so
even when
much
you're forced
power
to
in
do
that.
it,
There's so much
so
power in
much.
that. And it doesn't even have to be. Yesterday, I was at the store and I went to leave, and there was a lady, an older lady in an older car, and she was sitting out, pulling out onto a main road, and her car was stopped. And nobody was around. I pulled up next to her and I said, and this is my daddy. This is Jim Shaw coming out of me. I know
All right.
this is my dad and my mom, honestly. And I stopped and I said, do you need help? And she said, yes. And so I pulled back around, parked. Another lady was coming up. She said, do you know her? I said, I don't, but we need to get her car out of the middle of the road. She was panicking. She was probably in her late
Yeah.
70s. And here me and this girl start to try to push her car, two women.
Yeah.
And this man stops, pulls his car in the median, runs over. He goes, no, 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 no. You get in the car. You steer. And we pushed her car out of the way. And she went over and she dialed AAA. And I'm not like patting myself on the back, but on the way home, I was like, I've done a service today. I'm God's servant, and I did what I needed to do. It wasn't a big deal, but I felt like people kept passing her and going around her, and I'm like, man, if more people would just stop and take 1 second and just do a little something every day for someone else. I had somewhere to be. I didn't have time for that, but I didn't care. You know,
No, no, it pays off in dividends. You put, 1 ounce of effort in, you get 12 ounces of joy back. It's crazy how that works, and I'm glad you did that. I was the guy that drove around her and flipped her off. Thank you very
no, you
much.
didn't. You would
I did
not.
that.
You would. That's a
Move your
lie, folks.
car.
He's lying.
I I rolled down the window. I said, "You can't park there." No, no.
She was so scared. I mean, it
I
was sad,
bet.
but and I've been there. I've been there with my cards broke. It happens to us,
Yeah.
and people have helped me. You got to pay it forward. I mean, even little things. This is cheesy. Do you go to Aldi? Are you an Aldi shopper?
Oh, you're
Do
gonna
you
tell the
pay
guy
the quarter forward?
the card.
Do you hand it
Aldi
to
has these
someone and they try
cards.
to give you a quarter? I say no. Take it. It's yours.
It's yours. Why
Quarter.
don't other supermarkets do that? I don't understand. When you go to Aldi to get a cart, you have to put a quarter in, and it releases the cart from a chain, and you get a cart. And when you come back, you put the cart back, you lock it up, and your quarter comes out. And it's only 25 cents, but it means something to somebody. And I don't know why other chains, I don't know why that concept hasn't taken off, because there's not a cart in the Aldi parking lot. They're all where they need to be.
And it forces you sometimes to talk to someone you don't know in a kind way, if you think about that.
But yeah, yeah.
Like, here,
And you
no,
say,
you
don't
take
worry,
this. Don't worry
this
about it.
cart's on me.
And
It's
sometimes
25
I'll
cents.
say, pay it forward.
That's
You
it.
know, it's a
That's right.
quarter. What's
Dennis
a
Gillan,
quarter?
Mr. Moneybags, you could have 25 cents.
Yeah, yeah. Some people even have their little like key ring that's a quarter holder. Those are serious Aldi shoppers. I'm
Right. Like
actually on a Facebook Aldi Facebook page. So
they have a dedicated quarter.
yes.
It has a hole in it or something. They put a hole in it so because it sticks out a little. Oh
It's
my
like to slide
gosh.
your quarter down in it. Yes, that happened. But so yeah, I mean, those are little small what I call God winks. And this week we could use that. You know, then 9/11, that memory everybody remembers. I know I remember where I was. I cried again every time I see that plane hit a tower. I think of a person in there. I wish they would stop showing the jumping off of the towers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that. It breaks my heart. God, that probably is one of the worst things about the desperation, and which you know is suicide essentially, but
Yeah.
almost no other choice. It seemed better than waiting to die. Um, yeah,
Given
what a
the
week,
option, that was the option they chose. Yeah.
right? What a week. I mean, what a week of just for me and Dennis, all of us really. What a week of just overwhelming sadness.
9/11, because I grew up in the New York area. I was waiting. I was in Chicago at the time,
I
and
forgot
everyone
you
has their
grew up
not.
in that area. Wow.
Yeah, you had that 9/11. We were an hour behind, and I was getting ready to go to downtown Chicago. I was going into the city, and that did not happen. Nobody went near any city that morning.
Yeah.
And the TV, someone said, "Turn the TV on." I'm like, "What?" I was getting dressed. I'm like, "Turn the TV on." And like, it was awful. And then I found out I went to Nyack High School. We lost my year. I graduated, and our class president Stacy sent us, who was just a super person. We lost her in
Hmm.
the tower. And then there's a special on ESPN, and it's called The Man with the Red Bandana. And I encourage you to watch it. It's not a sports story, but it is. The kid played lacrosse at Nyack High School, and I don't want to give too much away. I just want watch The Man in the Red Bandana if you want a pick me up story, because it basically starts off like, what would you do in the last hour of your life? And this kid with the red bandana from Nyack High School, Wells Crowther, he chose to help other people. And
I
this
will
woman,
watch that. I will watch
the
that.
man with the red bandana, I
On
highly recommend it.
ESPN.
ESPN. It's like one of those 30 for 30 movies, narrated by Edward Burns. He's got a great voice, and it's just one of those stories like, damn,
On
that's a good
Sundays, I'll
dude.
watch Pick Me. It's just weird. My husband and I committed. We will not, on a Sunday evening to start the week to honor Sunday, we find a good pick me up, positive message show, movie, whatever. I have to tell you, they're hard to find sometimes.
You got to get the Hallmark Channel.
I have the
That's
Hallmark. I'm already watching Hallmark Christmas movies, sir. I needed a pick. I can't believe I'm telling you this. The last weekend, I wanted to watch a Hallmark Christmas movie because I needed a pick me up. I needed a break from reality. And I did.
That's
And it was
that's like
horrible,
they
but it
call
was
that
good.
mind candy. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Sometimes you need a little mind candy. You need something sweet for your brain, and I have no problem with that. Whatever you do to get feel better, you do to get feel better. As long as it's positive, like you're going out on a bender. That's not good.
No, I didn't
But
do
I don't
that.
think you know cashing in 90 minutes of your time just on the couch with the blanket watching Hallmark. I mean, just to get
I
your
mean,
psyche
my
back.
poor husband. I mean, we watched Hot Cocoa, Snow, A Kiss Under the Mistletoe, all of it. And it warmed my heart. And I know that some people laugh, but it was important to me and it worked.
Well, that may be the tip for the day. That may be the self care tip today. Is with all this going on, it may be a good time to get off social media, get a blankie, um, crank the AC so you get underneath the blanket, it's nice and warm, and then put on Hallmark. Even if you have to get the trial for a week and then cancel it next week. No,
And something else I did and I'm doing, and I kept saying, and I want to do things that bring me joy. And folks, we need some joy right now.
yeah.
I pulled out my fall decor. It brings me joy to see little pumpkins. And the only time I like orange, if you're in South Carolina, you know why I'm saying that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
a
said it.
little Clemson dig there from a
Yeah, yeah,
Gamecock.
yeah.
All
I'm a
right.
Gamecock. But I wanted I wanted to decorate. My dad died in the fall. I used to hate fall. Now I love it. I can't tell you why, but it brings me joy to put my decor out, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
There you go. So we started this podcast with a rough week, and we're ending it on a positive note, which we always should do. Some self care tips. I'm going to play tennis Sunday. I'm not going to curl up on the couch with Hallmark because I'm a dude and I need to talk to your husband. But he's,
He hates it, but he loves me. That's what he'll tell you. I hate it,
you
but
know,
I love her.
I always start out with like, my wife will watch one of those cheesy movies and I'll say, oh, this is stupid. And then halfway through, I'm like, oh, wait, is that the guy she likes?
Same,
Totally
same. I
into it.
don't care what
Like,
he says. Same,
oh, I hope they hook up at the end. Yeah. Oh, please get
same.
married.
That's
Yeah.
so true. That is, I love it. Love it.
Well, Jessica, we started dour, we're in and laugh, and that's life, and everything in between. So, folks, we hope you have a good week. We almost call this it's a tough week, but it's a tough subject. Whatever you're going through, you're going through. But also have a safety plan and know what you got to do to get out of it. And if you need a safety plan, you go to halfasorrow.org. I have them up there. A safety plan is something that when you know you're getting depressed, when you know your mental health is flaring up in a negative way, you really construct some positive ways to get out of it. We'll dedicate a whole episode to that one day. But if you're familiar with safety plans, you want to reach out, Dennis at halfasorrow.org. I'll send you one. We have one for kids now that's like a coloring book. We're here to help. We want to help. And hopefully this podcast helps. So, Jessica,
Dennis,
thank
can
you
I
for
say
sharing your heart.
something?
You really opened up this week.
Can I say something to folks? Today, hug somebody that thinks differently than you and tell them that you appreciate that.
It's a great way to spend your day hugging people, especially if they don't agree with you. I'm going to send a hug to all my guys on my chain.
I'm going to send a
See
hug
what-
to my Clemson fan friends.
well, there you go. Now you're
I
back to
got
the
a
football
Georgia man
digs.
on here. Nobody can see him, but yeah, well,
Exactly. All
that's a
right.
whole different story. But
That's another good thing to like about fall. It brings football. It brings rivalries. It brings camaraderie. It
oh,
brings
yes.
joy at tailgates. If your team wins, joy. If your team loses, great sadness. But find something to do that's outside the realm of social media and all this other stuff that's swirling around that brings you joy. I'm Dennis Gillan. That's Jessica Seel. Thanks for popping on. It's a tough subject. Season 3. More to come. Love you folks. Have a great day.